women sluts for sleeping around, and for men it's a positive thing.
This is learned behavior, and it's about us unlearning that behavior. It's following what society has always taught us, what people around us have said, what the media portrays, that the men are the hunters, so they can go out and hunt. A woman's place is in the home. All those old archaic views on how a woman and man should be. A man's allowed to sleep around. It's a way of him finding himself. A woman should wait for the one, and she should have respect for herself, and she shouldn't be doing the same thing. So it's just about old mentalities. And as I said earlier, it's about breaking that and being your own person and realize that a woman has her own mind. Now, if she wants to do something like that, she's an adult, it's a prerogative.
Mhm.
She wants to sleep around, she sleeps around. If a man wants to sleep around, he sleeps around. As I say,
Yeah.
we're all individuals. You do what suits you. So that's where that's come from. That was just a quick breakdown on those old mentalities that we still carry around with us. And think,
Yeah.
oh yeah, she's she's a slut. How's she doing that? And then a man is doing it, he's getting a pat on the back.
Okay. So
Should be same energies to both people.
I
A man, if
I
we're
had
calling a woman a slut, a man should be a slut as well, or have no respect for himself. Maybe use another word, but
yeah, it's, it's man calling it. It's weird calling a man a slut in it.
that's
He's such a
weird.
slut.
You to come up with something
Slut.
else. He
Yeah,
has
I don't even know what's the. I don't even know what the
I'm
term
sure
is
there
for a
is.
man. Yeah, I don't. Such a. But does it? I've got a bit of a question. I'm going to slide in then that I had. So body count then quickly. Is body count such a big thing for a woman?
Count it.
Well, yeah,
The amount of people they've slept with, yeah? Is that what you're?
yeah. Are we say like what we saying on that
No,
in general for a woman or a man? No, like
no, no. That's just again us being caught up with the past. It's gone.
even if it's a very large number,
Yeah, but what does that mean?
meaning like I don't know. I think it is we take on a lot of sort of things that have been going on over the years, and like we don't always know where our thoughts are originate from. We get them from somewhere. So like I've got this thought from somewhere because I don't know. That I can't tell you where all my thoughts come from, but I suppose in myself, I like you kind of see it as if a woman's slept with, I don't know, 50 men by the time she's 25. I suppose that is perceived as quite mad because it's like how
Like she was
why
training to be a porn star or something.
I don't know, like what is, and then it goes into the next thing, what is a big number? Because for some, 50 might not be, five might be a lot for someone. So, and it's like, then it's very difficult, isn't it, to kind of grasp what is large, what is bad. Like, do you count other aspects of sex as a body count? Like, do you know what I mean? That you
No,
could go on and
get
on.
what you need to do is get that out of your head. The past is a past, and you move on. And your situation is new. Yeah, and that's what we do all the time as human beings. We're so concerned about what happened before us. It doesn't matter what happened before you.
Yeah,
You need to deal with what your situation is, and it's all about the present and the here and now, not the past. Yeah, the past. This person, this partner could become a better person with you. You
yeah.
you could be the person that they could have slept with 50 people. I'm not condoned. That's why I never want to know. I never ask these questions. I never want
Yeah,
to
I
know.
don't know. I don't know whether I agree. I don't know whether I agree entirely on this one because I think
No,
there
you
are
don't
certain
have to.
little.
So all
Yeah,
about
no, I know.
it's all about opinions. I'm just talking from
Yeah,
experience and how I go about it, because I know it does me no good. So what I'm
yeah,
trying to say is that past of what they dealt with or whatever, I'm sure it has a bearing on whether psychologically that's affected them and their experience of sex or intimacy or what have you. Of course it does. Our
yeah.
experiences affect how we are in our future relationships. Of course they do. That's just natural. I'm saying is it doesn't do me any good when I'm in a situation like that to know what their past has been.
Cool. That's a good
because
way to see it, though.
psychologically that has an impact on my present, my future with this person, because that's in my head. I'm
Yeah,
already, what I've always used to say, the older I got and the mature I became and the more relationships I had, like proper relationships, real relationships, loving
yeah,
relationships, is that these expectations and preconceptions of how a relationship should be with a particular person does you no good. It has no worth to your
yeah,
present and your future with that person. So what I do, I go in with a clean slate as much as I can and say, this is a new situation. Now, my last relationship was a nightmare or whatever, but I'm
mm,
not, I'm trying to unpack that baggage. Yeah. So now I've got empty suitcases that I need to fill up with new stuff in this new relationship, because this baggage is going to do me no good, because we already are starting off at a disadvantage because I'm walking around with luggage all the time.
that's good. And I suppose if you're not ready and you don't want the answers to questions, just don't ask the questions. You know, like we only get the answers when we ask the questions, and then once we ask them, we don't like the answer, and then you can't. My thing is as well. Once I've seen something or heard something, I can't unsee it and I can't unhear it. So you have to know in yourself you're ready. If you want to ask those questions, ask it. But if you know, like what you've exactly just said, you're bringing that with you. We don't need to bring that with us. Leave it, like it's old, it's not with us, you're starting new. So I like the way that you've broke that down. That is
Yeah,
a good way of
because
looking at
relationships can be complicated anyway.
it. Oh yeah,
When we're finding each other out and we're working each other out and it's committed and we're honest and things like that within a relationship, yeah, that's difficult already. So you're carrying all this baggage of, oh no, I'm not going to have this situation with this woman now because my last situation was this, and
yeah,
you're analyzing everything. So it just creates more. What you want to do is try and have this freedom approach to it of, I'm going to find out, this is something new, right?
yeah,
I don't normally do this, but I like this person I'm with. Let's try this. Let's do this and get out of your comfort zone. I do that a lot in my marriage. I get out
I
of my
like that.
comfort zone. There's things I don't like doing, but I try it, and then you know what? It's not as bad as I thought. But I gave it a
Mm,
try.
no, I like that.
Yeah,
I like
and
that.
it's just being open, because you never know, and just make the most out of your situation and appreciate what you have. Don't be
Yeah,
concerned about what's gone. You know,
yeah,
you went through that trauma in other relationships, if you had any, or that great experience. You went for them for a reason. It's to make you the person you are today. So don't hold on to that. You need to let it go and realize that it's a process, and we're just evolving all the time through every new experience, every new relationship. We're evolving, and you have to evolve, and you live and you learn. And if you're not learning, then it's a problem.
and if you keep doing the same thing and getting the same outcome, then something's got to give as well. If you keep bringing along everything and you keep getting the same outcome and having the same kind of relationship and it keeps breaking down in the same way, maybe yeah, you need to check yourself and do what you said and literally slate clean. Stop bringing all of the other stuff because it's not working. It doesn't work for everyone. So
They say,
okay,
if you want a new result to an outcome, you need to change your old habits and the old you and become a new version of yourself to
mm,
have a new outcome. That's
yeah,
what I say. So that's what I'm trying to do with the new situations.
yeah,
So in my marriage, I'm trying to be a better version of myself every year. When it comes to an anniversary, I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to understand my wife even more and learn. And I know she hates those things, certain things. So then I'm going to stop doing them or do less of them or whatever. Compromise more, open communication more about how I'm feeling and when I'm down, when I'm happy, and that's about us evolving and just growing as people.
yeah. I think sometimes when you're getting into a relationship and we go through that stages of we're getting to know our partner or our future partner, some people get to a point where they feel like they know them enough, so they kind of stop learning. Whereas what you've just said is the whole point of growth within a relationship is that you grow in the sense of you're always learning about your
Yeah,
partner. You should
doesn't
be
stop.
constantly. Yeah, it doesn't stop, but I feel like sometimes things become stagnant and people don't take that time to, that people feel like if they're just sitting there together that they're doing something, where they're not communicating and you're not asking their partner about their day. Oh, how's your day today? Are you all right? And then that's it. That's the only conversations they have. They're not constantly, digging a little bit deeper. Every year you're getting a little bit better, and I suppose that's yeah, the growth of a relationship, which is good.
I still do it though. I'm not perfect.
Yeah,
God, I still have those moments. And remember,
yeah,
it's learned behavior. So I'm trying to unlearn it.
yeah,
I'm constantly trying to unlearn things and undo kind of behavior and, my upbringing and what I've seen as a child and as a teenager and as, a young man. And I'm constantly unlearning stuff, that the learned behavior. So I had moments when I check myself like, oh, well, let me dig deeper. I didn't really ask how my wife's day was. I just
mm,
kind of, just hinted at it, and I wasn't really involved or invested in that conversation.
mm,
So let me go back. So we check ourselves. We're not perfect. We're not robots. I can't just input this information and I'm always going to
yeah,
be like this. I still have to check myself and still work on stuff. And my wife would say, I appreciate you asking me about that. And she
no,
was like, yeah, good, because then that's like, the validation I need to keep on doing it and
yeah,
why I should, because it's actually, it actually works and it's better for this relationship and for her, and she feels better and she feels protected and supported. And
yeah,
it's thinking like that. So it's a lot, it takes work. And a lot of the times it gets stale or whatever, because sometimes people just had enough. They don't
yeah,
they don't want to work anymore. They're like, this is hard work. I didn't know it's gonna, and that's what it is. A relationship with a person. I'm not gonna say a woman, because this is open to everyone who
yeah,
dates, regardless of what your sexuality is, or it's it's about work, and it's constant.
mm,
It's constant work or pleasure. It can be. It leads to
yeah,
pleasure. So I shouldn't really say work, but you have to put effort into it.
yeah. You do.
It's
You
not
actually do.
it's not gonna just happen. And some people just get to the point of, and it's silly, because the problem is, when it gets to that point, or when they think, oh, I want something new, I can do with something new. Sleeping with the same woman all the time, maybe I want something new,
Mm,
something that's gonna challenge me again, and something that's gonna, you know, set my pulse racing and be exciting again. And and it's that easy cop out, because that's like, what? They don't realize you're starting the whole process again. Because then if you
yeah.
were saying you wanna
It's like it's gonna only happen again, isn't it? Like that's not always going to be in a relationship. Like I can't exactly speak like I've had loads, but like it's not always gonna be like you're up here. Some days you're gonna be down here. You're gonna be here. Yeah, like but when you're here and you're here for a little bit longer than you want, there's nothing stopping that you can go back up again. So what you think, you're gonna get someone new, you're gonna be up here for a little while, it's gonna plummet
yeah,
again. It doesn't like
was
it's not.
saying.
Yeah,
You're back to square one, and it's like, oh no,
yeah,
maybe I need to get someone new. That behavior. See what I'm saying? You've got to
yeah,
change that old version of yourself. If you want
yeah,
a better outcome, you're just continuing the pattern, aren't you?
yeah.
Oh no, this is getting boring now. Let me move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
You
I've
know,
had people tell me that after like 10 years of whatever marriage or being with someone, they still get butterflies over that person. They still, when they're around them, they still give them that little feeling, or they're excited to see them, or they miss them. Like I've heard people in long-term relationships tell me that they still get that, because it takes a little bit of work, and there's a little bit of a balance with it, that you might not be in each other's pockets all the time, and you are excited about each other and everything, but it can happen. I think sometimes people hold on to this oh, what's the word, like their ideal relationship, they think that it's always going to be amazing, and you're always going to have all these lovely feelings, but you can, if you work at stuff, like it's not going to be all the time, but that little dull feeling that you might get in your relationship sometimes, and then people run away and try and get something new and exciting, it's only going to go away again. Like it's not going to stay there. So
yeah, 100%.
yeah. All right, next one. Do men talk to other men about their emotions? Oh,
Not really. No. Now that might not be the case for every man, but generally, in my opinion, my experience over the years is no. You don't. You don't. You know, a lot of my friends, I call them, don't want to have those real relationships. Real relationships, talking about those conversations, real conversations. And they may, you know, divert and talk about something else because some of them can't handle it. It's weird. I've noticed that recently. The more open I've become, there's very few friends I can say, probably count them on, they're probably two fingers on, probably like my younger brother and a really good friend of mine. There's only two people that I could have an honest conversation with because the others don't want to deal with it. And when I spit that realism at them, they don't want to. They like divert and change the subject. It's like,
Yeah,
and that's really poor. That is that men can't, and and this delves into mental health and the suicide ratio for men is we bottle it up and we suppress our emotions because
yeah,
we're meant to be strong. Just remember,
yeah,
emotions and vulnerability is seen as weakness, which is nonsense. It's a strength to be that way. Yeah. But we again learned behavior that we need to unlearn in society, in communities,
mm,
you know, growing up in a Caribbean household, the men are meant to be these strong, you know, uh predators, hunters, like going back to the origins of humankind, alpha males, they don't cry, they don't feel emotions, or like they're robots or something. So
yeah.
it's learned behavior.
Do you think as well sometimes it's their preconception of how they think the person's even going to react to them? So you say like you've got a man here that's feeling a type of way and they want to tell their friend, like they want to tell someone that they're down or whatever it is, but they already thinking that person, I don't even know if that person even knows how to respond to me. So like already it's like they're built up, maybe not an anxiety, but like you could be like, oh, even crying, like a man wanting to break down in front of another man, that other man that you just said probably doesn't even have a clue of even how to deal like with that. So I suppose in that sense, well, it must be, yeah. How, what do you think? Is that something as well, that because you don't know how the other man might deal with it
Yeah, no,
or
no,
respond?
that they're all relevant points you made. They're all relevant points. I think you have to find someone. I think it's important just to put it out there that men need to talk more and express their feelings, and it's okay.
Mm,
That's what I want to say as a man, and a bit grown up in environments where I was told I was too soft when I would express my emotions, and that I needed to man up and be strong, and you know, seen as I need to be stronger. So growing up in those environments, and it's looked down upon as he's weak, man. He's not, he's not really a man, is he? If he's getting emotional, to being now at a point where I know that's a superpower.
yeah,
Yeah, it's important to, because you don't stay connected. I've been there where I've bottled up emotions and it comes out in a worse way, where I've suffered with anxiety, having panic attacks, all sorts
mm,
of stuff, that I've been dealing with deep depression through going through certain situations and having to find my way out. And it's a dark place, and you can go there just because I didn't feel I could talk to people and,
yeah,
and speak to people that were close to me, and not being a natural thing for me in the environments I grew up in. So
yeah,
appreciating that is the best thing. It's the way you feel when you finally offloaded that. It's like a weight that you're carrying around with you all the time, and it has an impact on you. Your body, you can't deal with that because it needs to release it. These emotions need to be processed. The trauma needs to be dealt with that you've gone through. um, you need to release that and
mm,
speak to people. You need to meditate, do things like yoga. um, you know
yeah,
have your safe places you go to in your head, or go for long walks. Find your ways of dealing with what you're going through. But the biggest thing is talking about it. Talk to someone close to you. It doesn't have to be another man, it can be a woman.
yeah.
be a family member, whatever, someone who's going to listen and not be judgmental, because it doesn't
Yeah.
help. And that's what we fear. We fear that someone's going to judge us for, as I said, it's being seen as a weakness, that I'm not a man. This person's going to look at me that I'm a lesser man, or, not strong and fragile and I can break and vulnerable, that we don't like being in those situations, being vulnerable and admitting our feelings, whether we're in a relationship or what have you. So it's about opening up, and I will say that. And it's a lot about that.
Do you think some women have sometimes played a part in that as well, in the way that men express themselves, where maybe certain women have, you know, expressed their opinions of, oh, if you're this emotional, this, and they've actually made it that it's a bad thing as well.
Yeah, but not complete. Yeah, definitely. I've been in situations where some women couldn't stand the way I was at times, and they'll just say, "Look, I wish you was more manly," and I didn't really understand why you're so upset about this or whatever, and I need to find a real man or whatever it is. I've been in terrible situations like that. So yeah, some women are like that as well. So it's not completely all just about how men feel. Some
Yeah.
women in environments, you've also got the whole strong black woman thing. So never mind
Yeah.
man, strong black woman. I need to be like this. They expect me to, hold them up. I need to be the spine, you know. Society expects me to be that way, strong and not weak, and yeah. So you've got that as well. I've got a lot of women in my life, especially in my family. So I've been in relationships where women have been like that to me, of course. But they weren't the right person. It's like anything, isn't it? You're in certain situations. Sometimes you're not with the right person. Sometimes you're with
Yeah.
someone who doesn't appreciate you for who you are, and that it comes to an end, and it happens for a reason. But it's not to say you're not. The problem's with you. You just
Yeah.
weren't the person, and you still need to value yourself and say, well, there's nothing wrong with being emotional, because I know I need to vent and I need to express myself in a particular way. Because if I don't, then the downside to that is the anxiety, depression, and panic attacks. So it's just weighing that up, and you will meet people that it doesn't connect and it doesn't work, and people will put you down. That's life, isn't it? The life lessons. People put you down and make you feel like you're nothing, but you need to realize your self-worth and build yourself back up, because it's like anything. You're going to get rejection. People are going to put you down. People are not going to like you. People are not going to like what you do. People are not going to think you're talented. People are not going to think you're good at what you do. It's just it's just opinions. It's just life, isn't it? And you got to realize that's part of it. And yeah, I can say that now because that's life experience now, but back then it hurt and I felt like nothing. but
Yeah.
but you build yourself up and you find your way, and that's the way to do it.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said a point there. I think if you can't be your complete self with someone, and you can't show them all sides of you, we're gonna have them dark days, and then that person can't stand beside you, or they're not putting you down. That person's not for you anyway. Like, that person, if you have to hide any part of you because you're fearful of judgment or whatever they're gonna say, then that person's not for you anyway. Like, that's just clear as day.
Yeah, you just move on.
Yeah.
You just move. Easier said than done, of course, and certain situations really did hurt, but you have to move on, and that short-term pain is long-term gain.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Next one. Why do men struggle to admit how sorry, hold on. Oh, I'm trying to read. I'm trying to read and get it correct, and then I'm rereading another one. Why do men struggle to? There's no perfection. We're not perfect. Sorry, guys.
Imperfect.
No, imperfect. Right, let me start again. Reload. Right. Why do men struggle to admit how they feel in relationships? Like, admit their feelings. Why?
Yeah, I've covered a lot of that though, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
you have. You have. I think a lot of these questions, they kind of bleed into the next one and to the next, and they're all kind of connected, which is good.
But a lot of it, as I said, it is around. you know, it's being in touch with our feelings and not wanting to be hurt,
Yeah.
like these big teddy bears. Well,
You,
actually,
I found like I found a lot in recent times that obviously we all know we've got emotion. This whole men don't have emotion thing is a load of crap.
it is.
Um, it is, but men are very emotional when you meet the right man and they feel that they can trust you and they feel comfortable with you. And it's not about emotion. I don't mean in the way of like, oh, crying or whatever. If you want to, like, I'm not talking about that side of it, because that's, there's like all different, types of, but just in general, like, I do find that men are just emotional, as emotional than us, but they're just a lot more logical with it as well. Like, I think you like just have a, the right times, and the way that you show it as well is just not exactly the same as us. um
Yeah, no, what very emotional.
yeah.
I said, afraid of being hurt, afraid of what society expects us to be, and the people around us and our little communities and our network of people, what they're going to say about us, unlearning behavior, you know. So it's all of that coming with it. So it's hard. It's hard for us to express ourselves openly without feeling I can't open myself up like this. I don't know whether this person is gonna respect me for that.
Yeah.
It's gonna go down well. What's it? How's she gonna respond to me being this open and emotional as a man? Again, remember, we've always got these thoughts in our head constantly.
Yeah.
In all these situations, in the back of our minds, always thinking, how am I gonna be? How's this gonna be perceived? How's this gonna go down in this situation? Is it gonna be accepted, or is it gonna be frowned upon? So it's all about dealing with that, and that's one of the biggest things I would say between men and women is the emotional part, and it's expressing our feelings and being open and honest about them in our relationships.
Yeah.
And and going back to something about the whole when you talk about men sleeping around and women, and it's okay, and women seen as sluts. What I would say about this thing, especially with sleeping around and things, and as I said, it's your prerogative and you do what you want. You're an adult, you can live your life the way you want it. So, it's not fair for people to judge people on their lives because it's their life. What I would say is, if you are going to sleep around, see, I'm not down for cheating. So this has been my thing with the whole situation of sleeping around and having multiple partners, and you know um, going on Tinder hookups or whatever it is nowadays. Um, I think honesty. I think honesty. When I would have casual partners back in the day, I would be honest. This would not
Yeah.
be a deception. I'd be saying, and I've had women say it to me. I'd be
Yeah.
having these conversations of, oh, this isn't something serious. If you know this is just going to be a casual thing, that's all I want in this situation. I've had women just put me on the spot with that and say, look, Mike, don't even think this is anything serious.
Yeah.
This is just a hookup. So don't get attached. And I'm like, wow, I respect that.
Yeah.
I'm at the jump at the situation, trying to speak to this woman and trying to chat her up. And she's like, no, I don't even want a committed relationship with you. You're not even my type of guy. But if this is going to be physical, I'm down for that because there's an attraction there. So I've had women come to step to me like that, never mind me stepping to women. And I appreciate that honesty.
Do you think though that works? I agree with you with that, because I think these days, I think as human beings, I do not think at all we're meant to be alone. Like, I think, like you're saying, even when men or women are sleeping around, they are ultimately still connected. Like, as much as they might have a bit of sex over here, a bit of sex over there, they're not alone. Like, none of us can completely say we are completely alone in our lives. Like, there might be a one person you're talking to, or a one person over here. Like, we are generally never going to be alone. What we can't, I feel like it's not physically possible for us. But I agree with you. If you're honest, if you are seeing multiple people, cool, you're not hurting no one, you're not cheating on no one, you're not, if that person knows. I think what the issue is sometimes is when you are sleeping with someone, but then you start doing all those other little things that go in that direction of, you know, all the little cutesy things. It leads a little bit, you know what I'm talking about, which leads into the term situationships, all of that stuff, because emotions can get involved when you keep it over here and it's just a bang or a link or that's all it is and we both know it. It's when the other things start coming in, you know, the little extras where the guy might slip a little bit or the woman allow a little bit more extra time. You might do a, do you see what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, but
Yeah.
the common thing here is at the end of the day, we try and make out like it's just that, but it's
Yeah, yeah.
an act, isn't it? No
It
matter
is.
no matter how much you want to be like, I'm not into her, I'm not into him. It's an intimate act.
Yeah,
Happens. What you're doing there is a connection of some sort.
yeah.
So eventually, what happens? One of the people in a situation starts
Mm,
to get feelings. It starts happening a lot more frequent than it was in original arrangement.
yeah,
And other things start going on, start getting a bit cute with it. You know, start putting in a dinner there. Start, yeah.
yeah,
Maybe I should just take you out. Maybe
yeah,
maybe we can leave out the sex part, and how about we just go out for dinner tomorrow?
yeah.
Why don't we just have a nice breakfast? I cook breakfast for you. We stay in this afternoon and watch Netflix. So it does happen, but I've been in situations where it's just been cut off though. The woman's just like, I found someone. I'm like, wow,
But I
okay.
think maybe this becomes ruthless.
Wow, just like
No,
you know,
sorry,
as you
sorry.
like, I found someone, and I'm like, wow, man.
What was it? I read something once. I can't remember what the actual saying is, but it's like sometimes you're making someone better for someone else. So that person has got you there, and you might tick this, but they don't want you. And as much as that hurts or whatever, and you might feel like you're everything for them, you're not. You're literally just ticking a few little boxes. It's your time, but you're there for a short time, not a long time. And you are making that person better for someone else. And I think a lot of that stuff is happening these days, and maybe why some people lead themselves into them certain situations is because if you're having sex for a long period of time and it keeps going, it starts going cutesy. I think there has to kind of be a cut off. Maybe you do have to be cutthroat. Maybe it is a thing of you start something in your head, you're like, this is gonna run for like a month or two, and then cut it off.
100%.
Like you have to be like, it's cut off. Like stop building connections, because as much as what you like we're saying, you've just said it, you've hit the nail on the head. No matter what you want to do, you want to pretend you're building connections. You are like all of this. Oh, I don't like that person. I don't like. No, you do. You do. Like you do. For you to keep going back, as much as the sex is good. Yeah, that's what's keeping you going back. So you're still building some kind of connection.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Need to break it if you can. It's easier said than
Yeah.
done. I'm just
Yeah.
talking.
No.
Everyone's experience is different. I'm just saying these has been situations that I've had to deal with in the past,
Yeah.
and yeah, it needs to be cut off. And I've been cut off blatantly. Like some
Yeah.
women, I found someone like wow,
Yeah.
cut me off like that. I thought I was this special something, but maybe not. Put me in
Oh.
place.
Yeah.
See, that's what I respect. That
But then
honest.
you've got to, yeah, you've got to. That is cutthroat honesty, where instead of it keep going and going and going, because like I said, you can tick certain boxes for someone, you can, and it's not always gonna be 100% even with your partner sometimes, but it's as close to that as possible. Like it's as close to that as possible. Hence why they are your partner. But with other people, I think sometimes when we do have these little connections and they do tick some boxes, they're kind of stuck around, they're kept around, and it's unfair on both parties, like it is, where it's like fearful of telling someone the truth because you don't want to deal with the reaction, but it's probably the best thing to do, to be honest. So
It is.
just cut them off, just how we press that end button when we want to get off the call quick and we're like quick to be like done. You need to just press that end button.
Cancelled, man.